What's up, guys? I'm back again to share some more CDs. So, I'm gonna finish off my U2 collection with all that you can't all that you can't leave behind. I'll combine leave and behind there for a minute. Call it believe. But yeah, at the time I'm recording this, which is months before I plan on posting it, I've actually only listened to this all the way through one time. And I wasn't particularly impressed, and I wasn't really expecting to. So I got this because I was buying something on Discogs, and something that I think is kind of cool about Discogs is sometimes like it'll recommend other things from the store that, you know, based on what you already have in your car, they think you might like. So yeah, I went ahead and added it. This has the song "Beautiful Day," which is a pretty decent song. I mean, I'd say, like, you know, terms of their more popular songs, that they're good popular songs, you know, it's fairly low on the list, but I still think it's a pretty decent song. But, you know, I knew that, you know, in my opinion, Pop is kind of like their last good album. And yeah, it's mostly just generic pop rock, nothing at all special about it. So, but yeah, it's a CD, it has packaging. So let's get into it. So here's our booklet. Alright, so that is it for my U2 collection. So, moving on, I only have... one second. Sorry about that. I could have sworn I moved all the CDs from my CD carrier for, you know, long trips in the car to the actual disc cases, but apparently I missed one. But yeah, only album I have from Tom Waits, Mule Variations. I don't listen to it that often, honestly, but it is a pretty decent album. I should probably get more from Tom Waits, though. So yeah, I mean, if you have any Tom Waits recommendations, I mean, like I said, I record these months before I actually post them. So by then I may actually have some, but I mean, if you have any recommendations, feel free to say them. And if you see my camera shaking around, that's because Thomas is rubbing against the legs. Alright, so next we have a solo album from Jim Ward called Daggers. Jim Ward is the frontman of Sparta. He was also in At the Drive-In. He, at least at one time, had a project called Sleeper Car. I don't know if he ever plans on doing anything else with that again, but either way, this is his solo album, and it's a pretty solid album. Not much going on with its packaging, though, but, you know, great alt-rock album if you're into that sort of thing. Next up, we got Weezer's self-titled album. I only have 2 albums from Weezer. Want to guess which ones they are? Besides this one, obviously. But yeah, their first self-titled album. I have no idea how many colored self-titled albums they have at this point. But yeah, I mean, if you're not familiar with this, you know, as like My Name is Jonas, The World is Torn, Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, Sweater Song, Say It Ain't So. It's a classic. I always like this picture in there, because the gear that they use is kind of weird. I mean, they got a humbucker Strat, not too weird, I guess. But it's leaning against a bass amplifier, which to me implies it was going through that amplifier, which would be pretty weird. And they also have a SG with single coil pickups, which is another thing you don't really see that often. if you're into that sort of nerdy guitar stuff. Alright, so time to guess the other album. Of course it is Pinkerton. One of my all-time favorite albums. Love the passion in his vocals and this. Oh, I got some clumpy thing hanging up from it for some reason. But I also really like the artwork for it too. Yeah, there's just something about maps that I like. And y'all might know I have a compass rose tattoo to my leg, which mainly represents just, you know, the enjoyment of traveling. But, you know, I just like the imagery too, you know. But not much going on for it, but I do rather like what art there is to it, you know. Alright, moving on, we are getting into my Star Wars collection, which we will be in for a decent while. So, I have more, at least of the original scores on CD than vinyl. But, yeah, for a while we didn't have the prequels on vinyl. We got them recently. I haven't really picked them up yet, but probably one of the most iconic is, of course, The Phantom Menace. And because I buy a lot of things used, they tend to fall apart. But yeah, I mean, you know, Duel of the Fates. Need I say more? We got a cool poster deal. Although I don't really like it when, you know, they do carve it like that. Which, you know, they do that so, like, when it folds around, like, you know, everything will be right side up. But, I mean, I just see no real point in doing that. I'd rather see everything facing the same direction when it's all opened up, personally. Let's see, make sure I get it back together right. And then, of course, I have Attack of the Clones. It says collect all 4 covers. And yeah, like I said, I got this used. I got it because it was cheap. I don't know what the other 4 covers, or other 3 covers, I should say, were. So, funny thing about the Attack of the Clones score. So you may know that John Williams, the composer for Star Wars, also composed music for the first 2 Harry Potter films. However, I believe his scheduling conflict or whatever, but he didn't actually conduct the music for Chamber of Secrets. He just wrote the music. And yeah, there was a song that's on both Attack of the Clones and in Chamber of Secrets. And there's a lot of theories about how that happened, including that he may have just accidentally handed the wrong music to the guy who ended up conducting it. But yeah, moving on, we got Revenge of the Sith. Probably the best of the prequel trilogy in terms of the movie. And let's see, is this a... Yeah, it's a double disc, which I hate these things because they're... Okay, it opens from this side, but still... Usually that back disc is going to end up coming loose, and I hate that. I mean, if y'all see the CD shorts that I do, a lot of times, I mean, some of them, like, you know, especially when they have, like, bigger fold outs, this one's not too insane. Again, it has that, you know, thing going on, but, you know, big fold outs, you know, I haven't figured out a creative way to do that yet, but also don't like doing them when, you know, it's a double disc like that, because I'm always scared the one's going to fall out, and it's going to make that little short bad. And probably last one, we got a Return of the Jedi, which has this cool lenticular cover. One of my favorite Star Wars movies, and probably my favorite for the score as well. And it just fell out. Yeah. And I said that was going to be my last, but I think I do have decent time for one more. So, I believe this is the last, yeah, this is the last of my Star Wars music. We got Force Awakens. I kind of stopped collecting Star Wars music after this. I mean, I still enjoy the movies that came after it, honestly, but I just kind of feel like, you know, there hasn't really been any new themes introduced that really stand out to me, but Force Awakens did have a pretty solid score, I thought. Just had something fall out of its packaging. I'll show you the back, even though there's not much to it. But what fell out is a little flyer for a Star Wars concert tour, which I didn't go to because I would have remembered going to it. I don't remember it being announced or the dates. I'm sure I knew of it at that time, but it was too long ago. I've seen my local orchestra play Star Wars music though, so that's always a treat. Usually do a John Williams tribute concert every year, but this year instead they did a Lord of the Rings night, which was also cool. And yeah, I still got a few more CDs I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and show you. But I think I'm going to do one more CD video. It's going to be a fairly short one. And yeah, I will see you when I do that.